Alright, a few little tidbits here back on the GT engine swap. Got the motor mount nuts off. Those are the ones that go into the K member, and basically a single stud goes through the K member on each side. It's a 21 millimeter, and you're going to need to remove both of these. Alright, that I'll show you where I got it from. Underneath the car, we're going to look directly, if you're looking from the front of the car, power steering, assembly, rack and pinion is what it's called. There's the stud, you can see it hanging out right back there. See that? Okay. Also, power steering pump. I usually, doing an engine swap, like to leave these in the car. It's a lot easier instead of having power steering fluid leaking all over the place. Unless you're gonna want to add new fluids and change all your fluids, and I wouldn't suggest undoing the pipes there. But this is the power steering hardware. Basically, first off, you have on the power steering, when you look at it, there's a shield, and it has an 8 millimeter screw there, and that's the first thing that comes off. Then the rest of the hardware is right, very noticeable, right on the power steering pump. There's 4 of them. Those 3 are easy. Okay, you can get those right away. The last bolt, if you do not disconnect the line, it will take you some time, because you cannot get but a couple turns on it because of this power steering line here. You can get a little half turn on it at a time, and you're gonna have to get it slowly. But again, it's worth the effort. And having, I hate oil spills, and I don't like oil all over the place, unless you're gonna drain the oil and refill it. In this case, I don't think it's necessary, so we're just gonna go with that. Also, what also has to be removed is there's a ground strap that is basically right there on the side of the engine block. There's a couple brackets for the wiring that also need to be removed, and this is all for the ignition starter wiring. Basically, take off these little studs here, and this comes loose. Then you take that back. Also on this side, same thing. There's another one. I've already taken this off also. Stud, take that out of there, and that's connected to the wiring there. Alright, and AC compressor, clutch wiring, just take that off. I like to keep the AC units also in the car. In this case, the reason I leave the AC units in is because that way I can avoid recharging the system, which is very expensive on that Freon, which you know. But in this case, I'm still going to go ahead and leave it on. I'm not going to need it in the other vehicle that has a fully charged AC system, so I won't need that. This case, this vehicle got hit in this right corner and busted a leak through the AC condenser here. But if, like I said, I like to keep the systems fully charged, otherwise I would not have pulled this line out. I had to get to the ABS unit and get that out of my way. Normally I wouldn't have to do that. But if you're going to have to drop your AC or release your AC Freon, make sure you have a recovery tank. Do not let that go out into the atmosphere. It is, as you know, our atmosphere is already pretty bad. So recovery tank, fill up your, and also keep your tools kind of somewhat in line. The majority of the stuff, you're going to need a 10 millimeter, so get a bunch of 10 millimeters, 13s, 12s, 21s, nice pry bar, air tools, flathead for removing sensors and whatnot. Needle nose pliers. And try to keep your tools clean. This kind of helps the process go much faster and organized. Just kind of keep them all together. Also, real quick, the AC, to drop the AC unit, is this bolt here, this one here, and the top one is right up here. Okay, that just basically frees it up from the lower part of the engine, and the hardware looks like that. Okay, basically Again, drop it, let it sit there. When you pull the motor, it'll be free. Alright. Now, back under the back side of the car here. I've already went ahead and done this, but you know, however, as good as you can see, there are on the back of there's one there. On the back of the H pipe, there's 4 nuts, and the hardware looks just like that. And you take it, one on each side, and you have a dual exhaust system, so you have 4 total. Okay, so I got that. I'm dropping the H pipe here. Soon there's a couple bolts that are up on the top by the header, and those are kind of, especially on this particular vehicle, I don't know if you can see it, but it's crunched right there, and it's kind of hindering the situation. But also another thing, your O2 sensors, disconnect them. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna hook up the cherry picker to the motor as soon as I get back up here. I'm gonna lift up on the engine and see if I can't get a little bit more room, and basically I'm trying to get into that corner. You see how close that engine got to that pillar. So we're gonna give that a shot. And again, Mike from Wild Mustangs, we're out here. It's getting kind of cold, and if you worked on a car in the cold, you know the steel's cold, which makes your fingers numb, which kind of makes them hard to move, and it's just getting colder out here by the second. I really don't know how you boys out there in the Midwest and the East Coast out there working on your cars in the dead of winter and snow and all that. I gotta hand it to you guys, but I don't know. Cold kicks in, frost hits my fingers, and I start sissying out, man. Anyways, I'm gonna get working here as late as I can, and hopefully we'll get this motor pulled by today at least. I like to do a pull a day on this one, and then do the pull on the other one, and then one day for the drop, or maybe a half day for the drop. That's usually pretty easy unless something goes wrong. But anyways, next time, I'll see ya.